Good evening, Andila. Thanks very much for your time. Before we get to your program, there was a very provocative argument I heard being made by someone last week who was saying, you know what, given the crisis this economy is in right now, shouldn't we stop talking about a whole lot of things, including transformation and BE, and just focus on growing the economy with what you have right now? Just your thoughts.
Good evening, Vuyo, and good evening to your listeners. That thought would be highly misplaced because BMF and I think everybody else who cares to spend time in analyzing our economy, we believe that we are in a situation that we are in, particularly the fact that we are contracting because the economy is very exclusionary to the masses of our people. So the fact that our economy is not inclusive enough, it naturally means that it can't grow to its true potential by virtue of the size of the tax base, the size of the spending power that is within the people in the population, and obviously the capacity for it to produce productively based on the skill set that our people have. So for anyone who says you must put away transformation to do and to focus on building the economy, how do you build the economy outside of the people that belong into that economy? How do you build the economy? At what base, at which platform would you build that economy when 80% of the population of that economy is not part of the economy?
In the BMF's view, how do we build an inclusive economy right now in South Africa, October 2019, given the challenges that we're facing as a country? Where do we even begin?
It starts, Vuyo, on a very, very basic level. One, obviously, that comes with investment in education so that you can have a proper and appropriate skill set that could obviously be productive at a global scale and at a local scale.
Well, that's not going to happen tomorrow, next month, or even next year.
Yeah, that's
We're talking now about things that we need to do now to fix the economy.
You see, one of the key things, Vuyo, is that there has to be a focus, particularly by the government spending into building medium-sized, smaller companies. And how do they do that? Is that there has to be opportunities given to smaller black-owned businesses, and they are backed, they are paid on time by government so that they can be sustainable, they can create. We need to create a critical mass of organically created businesses that are predominantly black-owned. And that's the role of government with their own 600 billion budget spending. But on the private sector part is that they are missing the point. There are issues, for instance, let's just deal with the sector, the retail sector alone, Vuyo. If you were to go and do an audit amongst those companies, they are importing multitudes of products that could easily be produced in South Africa. There is no determination and a structured way of making sure that some of the goods and services that we're producing are literally produced locally. So issues of import substitution comes in at that play. And the entire private sector value chain is predominantly untransformed. So the reality here, and that's why then at the end of the day people would complain that we have a very limited tax base, but they are concentrating the resources to themselves, and they expect that there would be an expansion of a tax base.
Now, two issues among many that, of course, you will be debating at this conference: nationalization of the Reserve Bank and land expropriation.
Those are the key issues in the context that we know that other sectors of our society have made pronouncement. What makes us very uncomfortable, particularly as the mandarins of this country, is the fact that critical debates in our country are led by exclusively politicians from time to time. And we know, and it's a matter of fact, that their level of understanding and adequacy of some of these issues is very limited. Professionals haven't come to the fore and have a very solid, valid argument about what must we do about the Reserve Bank. We have been taken to school. We understand the institution called the Reserve Bank. We understand the fundamentals that drives that, from the market forces to the economic fundamentals, but we are not part of that debate. Similarly, we are not part of the debate of the land expropriation. Now we want, as the BMF, as the forethought leadership organization that leads in that space, to bring in the professionals to echo their argument, and we will use that argument as our own policy resolution that we will then take to the powers that be, which is the politicians at the end of the day. So that's what we are trying to do. The
big issue, of course, is not being left behind. Black economic empowerment and employment equity implementation.
Look, there is a far cry about the employment equity report that came out. And for many years, we have been only crying about it. There is no direct, clear, well-orchestrated plan that would devise and change the environment that we see, particularly in the corporate sector. It's unjustifiable view to have a population that is predominantly black and is in a country where companies, you would swear when you walk into many of the corporates in our country, you would swear that you are walking into companies in London. It's unjustifiable. And I think even the people that are mending that system, they are aware that it's a system that is unsustainable, it's a system that is unwelcoming. When you go to China, you find businesses that are reflective of China, of Chinese. When you go to Japan and similarly to the rest of the world. But when you come to South Africa, you are sure to believe that you are somewhere downtown London. And that is not acceptable. The BE itself, as well, is that it has not yielded the necessary results that we wanted it to yield. It is now a high time that we must have a robust outlook on it and even devise other different measures, unorthodox measures. I can tell you similar measures as creating a sovereign wealth fund, Vuyo. There are many deals. You see, there's a transformation charter that has been approved in the mining sector. And why is it that there cannot be an allocated 5% that would be given to a sovereign wealth fund so that the people that don't participate in the mining sector can yield and derive value out of the business and deals that takes place in the private sector? Because the sovereign wealth fund would be then serving the entire nation. We would be able to pay for free education. We'll be able to fund new organic strategic businesses that are venturing into new sectors. So those are the things that we need to bring to the fore these days.
Best of luck with the conference tomorrow and on Friday. Black Management Forum President Andile Nomlala.